Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the vital, living pillar of your body, the axial skeleton. We're going to see exactly how it keeps you completely supported and protected against the constant crushing force of gravity. We often think of our bones as this rigid, dead scaffolding, but the truth is, your skeleton is a highly dynamic, living system that is working for you 24/7. Now, to really get a grip on why our skeletons are built the way they are, we actually need to ask a totally bizarre question. Why aren't there ants the size of horses just walking around? I know, it sounds like a crazy sci-fi movie, but basic physics actually prevents it. You see, if an insect grew that massive, its heavy exoskeleton would literally just collapse under its own weight. A body with that much volume would require an exterior shell that's exponentially thicker, heavier, and way clumsier just to hold it up. And this brilliantly illustrates why vertebrates triumph when it comes to massive size. Skeletons basically come in two main flavors: exoskeletons on the outside and endoskeletons on the inside. Exoskeletons severely restrict size and add a ton of clumsy weight, but our internal scaffolding, the endoskeleton, solves this perfectly. It provides centralized internal support, which allows us to handle incredible mechanical loads without trapping us in heavy armor. Plus, it serves as an incredibly efficient anchor for our heavy skeletal muscles. So, here's our roadmap for This Explainer. We'll cover the internal scaffolding, meet your axial skeleton, the skull, ultimate brain case, the spine, central pillar, rib cage, vital organ armor, and finally, staying strong and supported. Let's kick things off with part 1, the internal scaffolding, building the foundation. Your skeletal system splits the workload into two main departments to solve the everyday problems of gravity and movement. You have your appendicular skeleton, which are the bones in your shoulders, pelvis, and limbs, and then you have your axial skeleton, the bones in your head, neck, back, and chest. The absolutely crucial point to understand here is that your appendicular skeleton is what moves you around the world, but it has to anchor to your axial skeleton. The word axial literally comes from axis, meaning a line. It's the central axis that completely supports your entire core structure. Moving right along to part 2, meet your axial skeleton, the 80-bone chassis. To really put this into perspective, out of the 206 bones in an adult body, exactly 80 make up this central axial core. While your 126 appendicular bones are out there busy interacting with the environment, these 80 axial bones have the heaviest responsibility of all. They form the rigid frame that supports and cushions your brain, your spinal cord, and your most vital, squishy organs. And, these 80 bones aren't just thrown together in a random pile. They're highly organized into 5 distinct regions. We have the skull, the tiny auditory ossicles deep in the inner ear, the hyoid bone in the neck, the vertebral column in the back, and the thoracic cage protecting the chest. We're going to take a top-down tour of these structures to see exactly how they support us. Starting at the top with part 3, the skull, ultimate brain case, aka the penthouse. You might think of the skull as one big solid helmet, but actually, it's a complex puzzle of plates that forms both an entrance to your body and a high-security vault for your brain. Because it houses the brain, it requires ultimate stability. That's exactly why it uses these incredible structures called sutures. Sutures are tough, completely immovable fibrous joints made of collagen that fuse the cranial plates together. It gives you maximum, rigid, protective support right where you need it most. And 22 is the magic number here. That's the total number of bones locking together in your skull. It breaks down into 8 cranial bones, covering the top and back of your brain, and 14 facial bones. And here's a mind-blowing fact: that number doesn't even include your teeth. Even though we casually think of them as part of the skeleton, teeth are actually made of enamel and dentin, which is the hardest material in your body, but they're not bone. Okay, moving down to part 4. The spine, central pillar, or the elevator shaft of the body. This central pillar drops from the base of your skull straight down to your pelvis, and it's stacked in very precise steps. You've got 7 cervical vertebrae in your neck, 12 thoracic vertebrae in your mid-back, and 5 lumbar vertebrae in your lower back, ending with the sacrum and the coccyx right at the bottom. Those 5 lumbar vertebrae at the base are an absolute game changer. They have to support almost your body's entire weight and serve as the main anchor for your heavy back muscles against the constant downward pull of gravity. Now, if this pillar were perfectly rigid, it would literally just snap under pressure. And this brilliantly illustrates the engineering of the spine. Between the bones, we have these cartilaginous joints called symphysis. These form your intervertebral discs. They're united by a layer of tough fiber cartilage, giving you just enough flexibility to bend, twist, and absorb shock without shattering your central support.
Let's look at Part 5. Rib cage, vital organ armor, the reinforced walls.
The rib cage acts as a literal, built-in suit of armor wrapping around your core to protect the heart and the lungs. But its structural support does way more than just block impacts. It provides the rigid anchor for the muscles that actually allow you to breathe. Without the stiff support of the rib cage pulling outward, our lungs would simply collapse inward under everyday atmospheric pressure. So this armor is absolutely vital for your respiration. Remember those 12 thoracic vertebrae in your mid-back? They actually act as the sturdy rear anchor for this cage. Attached to those are 24 total ribs, organized into 12 neat pairs. These wrap all the way around your sides to meet the sternum, or breastbone, right in the front middle of your chest. It is a perfectly engineered protective vault. Finally, Part 6, Staying Strong and Supported, a living organ. It is so easy to look at a plastic skeleton in a classroom and think, well, bones are just dead sticks. But that is a massive misconception. Your axial skeleton is a highly dynamic, living, blood-producing organ system. Deep inside the spongy trabecular bone, your marrow is busy manufacturing red and white blood cells, and the bone tissue itself is constantly remodeling, literally breaking down and rebuilding itself from scratch using nutrients from your blood. Because your skeleton is very much alive, and because it works so incredibly hard to support you against gravity every single day, you have to support it back. Doing cardio and strength training puts mechanical stress on the bone tissue, which is the signal it needs to get denser and stronger. Getting at least 7 hours of sleep gives your bones the crucial downtime they need to rebuild. Maintaining a healthy weight takes unnecessary pressure off the joints. Consuming calcium and vitamin D gives your body the raw materials it needs to build that matrix. And avoiding smoking ensures your bones get the blood flow required to stay healthy. We've seen how this incredible 80-bone central chassis manages crazy mechanical loads, acts as a literal shield for your vital organs, and keeps you standing tall. But it needs your help to keep doing its job. So I'll leave you with this final thought to take away from this explainer today. Your axial skeleton is a dynamic, living structure that constantly remodels itself to support you. So what daily habits are you building to support it?